Hiya, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Rosie Hanshaw. If you're new here, then welcome. It's lovely to meet you. And if you're already existing, guys, then thank you so much for coming back. I really do appreciate it. Let's grab yourselves a nice cup of tea and some snacks. I've already had mine, so I'm just gonna relax and share with you. So I'm joining with that, but I have got quite an exciting video to share with you. So I did share something similar last month on my Instagram, and lots of you loved it. So I wanted to share this with you this time because now it's going into Easter. I'm going to be making it more Easter appropriate. So basically, one of the things I love to do is to buy one wreath that lasts you a lifetime, and you can just change it up each year with your seasonal decor in it. And I do have a eucalyptus wreath that I've been using probably for like the last 5 years now. But I wanted something a bit more fuller, and what I wanted to use was my Christmas wreath. So I've got this beautiful Christmas wreath, and I thought it's absolutely beautiful. And I know so many people have got Christmas wreaths that they can easily, rather than going out and spending lots of money, or even not a lot of money in some of the cheaper stores, you still get to do this, and it's going to be completely unique, and no one else is going to have the same as you. So I got this. So I've got this wreath. It's my Christmas wreath. And I've just got a few bunches of flowers and stuff from B&M and places that you can easily get these super cheap, or a lot of it you could make yourself, or you might even have this sort of floral stuff at home to make a beautiful spring Easter wreath. So this had loads of red and white berries all over it. I've just took them off and put them in storage. I'd done that off the camera because otherwise it took a long time, because they were metally weaved in, so I had to snip them off with my little like metal pinchers. But I can just put these in with like jute and stuff again when it comes round to winter. So this is perfect. I can have pumpkins in autumn, you know, spring stuff in spring. So I'm just going to show you. So this is my wreath. Some of these little bits of foliage, these little white flowers and stuff, I did actually add these last month because I added some little faux tulips to this wreath. So the ones that look more whitish, they weren't in this wreath. I did pop them in, but I'm going to leave them in. There's no point taking them out to put them back in. But I did have loads of these tulips, and I put tulips in this as it did start to become spring. I didn't want to take my wreath down. So I'm going to start off. So the one thing I did get was some hydrangeas. Now these are from last year, and I did put these in last year's Easter wreath, but I think they're absolutely beautiful. I think they're £8 for a big large bunch of these in B&M, and I know they've got a few different colours. The lilac colour is really beautiful, and I know Dunham and the range do beautiful flowers, so you can get pink flowers or seasonal pastel coloured ones anywhere, or you can even spray paint ones that you've already got. So I've got these like hydrangea bunches. Now they were like about 2 in a bunch like that. I just cut them in half to separate them. I feel like they go a lot further when you do that. And I've also got a baggie over here. This is some of my spring flowers. So I have loads of bags of stuff in storage down the end of my crafting. And these are bits that I thought I might add into this to make it look really fresh. I've got some of these sprigs. I've also got some pink flowers. So I'm going to just empty these bits out to see what the pink ones are. To open this out. It's a bit messy. It was in a box, but then when I got all the tulips out, I didn't quite put it back properly, but it's so cold at the minute, I thought I can't be bothered. So I've also got some of these really lovely pink flowers. Now these pink flowers were from a wreath that I made a couple of years ago, and they still have these in Home Bargains, so they are like a little bunch bouquet of flowers, and they've definitely got them in there at the moment because there was a Mother's Day bunch. So like a little bunch of flowers, and they have the little stems on them, which I've just cut off. So yeah, I just thought some nice pink flowers I'm going to put to the sides. They were £5 for a bunch of those. I'm just going to mix them up, but like I say, if you go to the range, you can get like 2 of the lighter pink, 1 of the lighter pink. Under £10 you can do this for, and then you've got it forever, and you can obviously change this up each season. It's more of an outlay at the beginning. I've also got some of these stems. You can get these in the pound shop. I think they're £2 in the pound shop. And they also do these in B&M. I think they're £3 in B&M. So I've got 2 of these little Easter egg sprigs as well. I'm going to pop my glue gun on. Actually, I'm not popping a glue gun on. I'm going to use a little bit of yarn for this. I do need to get some scissors though, because I'm not going to bother gluing this onto the wreath. Get my little scissors, yarn it on, and I've also just got some ribbon from my ribbon scraps. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start placing some flowers. So the ones that I really want in here are the really beautiful like baby pink hydrangeas. I think the pastel colours are just going to look really beautiful with this kind of foliage. I find if your wreaths are darker green, I think going for like a dark lilac purple colour will look really beautiful. Also as well, like the more sages, that will look really beautiful, complement like a darker wreath. This does have a lot of the darker wreath stems at the back, so that would go nice with more of the purples. I find this more pastel-y, chalky finish. Looks a lot nicer with the more paler colours. But you can obviously add some pale eucalyptus to your original wreath to add that colour beforehand. So I'm just going to cut the wool. Oh, getting a bit blunt, my scissors, as in my little flower cutting ones. And I'm going to pop these in, just going around one edge. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go more around one side than I am the other. I want it like an asymmetrical wreath, so like lots of flowers sort of cascading from one side down to the bottom. I quite like that look. I'm just going to make sure I get a solid stem to tie this onto. Trying to be careful. So it is a bit more fiddly doing this. You can do it with florist wire as well, but I find I end up losing the florist wire within it because it's dark green. And even though it's only cheap, so I think sometimes doing it with a little bit of twine that matches the flowers, because I've also got jute, but doing it with like a bit of wool that matches the flowers, you can tuck it in, sometimes is better because then you can just snip it away once you know that you're changing it up. So I've started off with that pink flower there. Now I'm going to start adding some, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this one more inwards and then the next one be more outwards, and I'm going to scatter these and add more flowers as we go along. I might even add some of these more brighter ones because I think they'll look really pretty as well. And then I'm thinking of maybe adding a few of the eggs, but you definitely don't have to. You could maybe get Mother's Day out of the way, do this as a Mother's Day wreath. I know you can get wreaths so cheap just after Christmas as well. It'd be quite a good idea to, yeah, this way. It'd be quite a good idea. Like these are just, some of these ones I popped in there with the white flowers on, and literally just from IKEA, Fedgekas. Literally just cut them off, snip them out and put them in. I'm always just snipping bits off. Don't ever throw faux plants, or if you get faux plants from the shop and you're not particularly keen on them, you know, just keep them just in case, because you can always spray paint them or add them into a wreath or something. Obviously, if you don't have the storage, fair enough, but I do, and I find I love keeping little bits like this. I've got such a big box of ribbon scraps that I take off of presents. I'm just, yeah, a bit of a hoarder for that kind of stuff. Tuck that in. So that one's more inward, and then I'm going to put the bigger one more outward again. Yep, and then wrap this one. Like I say, if I hot glued this in, it would be done instantly, and I always do that with my eucalyptus wreath. As you can see, I've got leftover glue on this, and that's because the leaves on it are very waxy, so they peel off super easy. You don't have to worry about damaging your wreath. But with this wreath, I feel like the glue would really get stuck, and then it wouldn't be worth it. Then it'd have to stay a spring wreath. And the reason I'm doing this is because it's more value for money by changing it up each season. So I feel like that's going to look really pretty on one side. I feel like we need one more. So these are all just, yeah, these are all just from one bunch from B&M of hydrangeas. I think you get 4, maybe 5 heads of the hydrangea, but because I cut them in 2, I've ended up with a lot more. I mean, some of them that were in the packet that were a bit smaller in hydrangeas that you couldn't cut in half. So I've just left them. So I think I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I've got 7. I think I've got 7. One of them were a smaller one. I think it's this one was already the size that it is. Tying this in. That's just a little tip that I use as well. If you're going to use yarn that you want to cut, sometimes doing it the same colour as the flowers, because I mean you can go in any sort of shop like the Range, Pound shop do wool now as well, so you can get yarn and get it in the same colour, and then it's not as showing, you won't see it. So we've got the flowers. That might look a bit crazy at the moment, but I am thinking, so I've also got some of these pastel ones. These were included in that pink packet from Home Bargains, so there was them 3. You'll probably recognise this bunch now. I'll show you like that. It was like that. It's like a Mother's Day bundle. I took them apart. I don't know whether to add the paler pink ones in because they're quite pretty, or to go a little bit more brighter and add the brighter pinks. Maybe I could do a little mix of both. I'm not sure. Don't know. Sometimes I have to have a little look and see what I think. I think I'm gonna place these in to see. I think these are going to have to be glued in unless I glue the twine and then tie it in. So I'm going to just squeeze that in for now, just to see what it looks like. And then possibly, and then, I don't know. Yeah, I feel like these pinks will look really, really cute in there. So yeah, these are probably going to have to be glued in. What I am going to do is just tie underneath the stem. I put in underneath the stem, just going underneath the leaves. Just being careful not to obviously go too hard that you end up taking it off and detaching the whole flower. But I think these probably could do with being glued in. So what I might do is just get a little bit of florist wire and just hot glue it to the actual flower, then pop it in, rather than hot gluing the whole flower itself. Like, that's not going to work. I have to tie it around the stem. It's a little bit trial and error sometimes. Trial and error sometimes with these things. But sometimes I just sit there, make myself a nice cup of tea, and put a little bit of my favourite music on, and I just craft. And it's always the things that I make with love that end up being the things that I love the most. Pop that one in, tie that up to a bit of string. Right. I think that's going to look rather pretty. And then do the same with the other one, and then I'll show you what it looks like. It'd be nice to add even like the most different of colours to this. If you've got like, you know, if you haven't got them, you want to go out and get some colours, it'd be quite nice if you could get some like some yellow flowers, maybe some lilac ones, just add in lots of different pastel colours. It'd be really pretty. Right. Just one more knot. One for good luck. Because I'm doing this, but I'm not going to want to remake it again after. I'm just going to do this while I'm talking to you and then hang it straight on my door. Right, so we tied that up around the glue bit. And I'm going to pop this one in here. So I just need a stem to tie that to. Just making sure to tie it to the ones that are attached rather than the ones that have just been shoved in from the IKEA plants. It's really so easy to do this kind of thing. Yeah, I think they look beautiful. So far, that one's looking a bit sparse. I think some of the heads have come off that, so I need to arrange that a bit more, maybe push another one in with it. Yeah, definitely needs another one in there, I think, instead of that one. Maybe arrange them to go together. Twist their leaves up so that stays in. Might be a bit much now. Yeah, that one's better, isn't it, than that one? So, because it's only twine, easily snipped out, and it comes out next year. So that's perfect. And then obviously you can just store yours a bit better away than mine. Right. It's always good to have a little shuffle anyway, because you can see if something looks a bit better anyway when you hold it up. Because normally I just hover over the top of mine and have a little look, see what looks best. Get the bits of cotton out. Yeah, that's a much nicer hydrangea. Really, really pretty. Now I am thinking something a tiny bit smaller just on top of this to sort of like add instance, maybe one there and then one there. I feel like that will really add a little bit of symmetry, but look really, really pretty. So tie that one about there, really pushing it up against the other ones because I feel like that'll look really nice, all sort of like, not crammed, but you know what I mean, very close together. Almost as if it was a bunch of flowers that you were arranging in a vase. Complement one another, don't they? And then one more here, and then I'll show you what it looks like, and then we can start adding some eggs and some ribbon. But it's so nice and simple. This is definitely something, I mean, if you've been on here for a little while, you may know that at Christmas time I done a wreath making workshop with my friends. They come round, and I got the local florist, and I ordered some, like, all the wreath bases, and we done like a little class, and I taught them all how to do wreaths. And it was really, really lovely. We had hot chocolate. They all brought a baked good. I said to them, like, obviously it's the party, not to bring anything but themselves, but all of them decided to bring like a baked good like each. So brought like cakes or things like that. And I just done loads of pots of tea, and we sat down and make wreaths. And actually it was such a lovely day to make our Christmas wreaths. And it was just like a nice conversations, nice cup of tea, bit of cake. It was just really lovely. So this is something that you could even get cheap wreaths, get your friends together and just make some wreaths together. It'd be really nice. Right, so I feel like this is looking pretty. I'm gonna bring this in like that. I feel like that's looking really, really pretty. I feel like we need something to spray out there now though, if you know what I mean. And so I'm thinking maybe these eggs, I feel like these would look like really cute, but we're gonna need to try and get into the actual wreath itself. So I'm gonna go in the wreath. Do you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna dissect these like I do with most of my things. So a lot of these are just tied up with paper. So as you pull, they will sort of like come apart. You might need a wire cutter, but I'm just quite brutal with this kind of stuff. I just pull them apart, and then you end up your bits. So I think I'm going to just pop these within the flowers as well, because I feel like they look really, really pretty. Like as if they're coming out from the flowers also. And some of the eggs, and then I think that bunch might look quite nice up there. And like I say, it is very trial and error. You just got to have a little look, see what you think looks nice. You can always just pop them back out. Just shove them in while you're having a little practice and having a little look. You don't need to secure them down. They look really nice like that. And then obviously I'll go in after and secure them. I feel like it might need a bit more green foliage as well, so I might pop this to the side. But I'm going to do the eggs first. Use this little section of eggs. Rip these little ones apart. Pop them in. It's looking really, really pretty. I feel like we need another one coming down a bit lower here and then one at the top. So that would work out really well by using the two sprays. So I feel like, where was it? Sometimes you need to get an image. So yeah, one about here. Pop that in there nicely. And then another one about here. So this one I'm going to bend in half. And obviously all of these have got to be secured properly in this, but I just wanted to get an image of what they look like first before tying them in. And I feel like that looks really, really lovely. Sorry, this dress is a little bit silky, it's popping down, I haven't tied it up properly. So yeah, I feel like that looks really nice. I feel like you could go even further with this with some eucalyptus to hang out of this to make it look really pretty. I have got some of these bundles that I might even pop into. I mean, if you was buying this, I don't know if they'd look. No, she's going to make it look lopsided. Yeah, I think that's that. And I'm going to hang like a nice bow off the bottom. So if you were doing this from scratch and you had your Christmas wreath, the bundles of flowers that I've used come to £12, and then the 2 egg things. So we're talking like £14 to have all of this stuff to do it. That's if you have to buy it new, and that's if you get the same places. I do know the range is cheaper, and I do know that they do flowers in the pound shop, places like that as well, so it's definitely worth having a look. I think you could definitely do this. This is under 15 anyway, but you could definitely do this under 10, and then you just think you've got all your stuff for spring. And then for, you know, like autumn, you can make the DIY pumpkins, the knitted pumpkins, and pop them in there. You can do this really cheaply, some twigs, some pine cones. And then at Christmas, it's berries berries, etc. Like you can get them really cheap in the pound shop. They do the little packets that go on present packets, and they've got like berries and that on them. So you can do this really cheap. I reckon you could do all seasons, even Valentine's Day, but adding loads of little paper hearts and stuff in it. You could do every single season with your wreath, probably for under £25 for the whole year, and then you've got that every year for life. It's definitely worth doing this rather than going online. Like if I went and bought a wreath like that online, I know that I'm talking minimum like £40, and it's not going to cost that. So yeah, right, so I've got some ribbon. I think I got this a long time ago, this ribbon. It's like a frayed ribbon. Good little tip as well, if you've got some nice fabric and you think it look nice as a ribbon, cut it in strips and then fray the edges, and it makes a little frayed ribbon. I'm going to use some of this, and I also got, this is really old, I got this when Millie was little to make ribbons for her hair. I've got this little gingham ribbon, and I think they might look quite nice overlapped together. Probably going to need my sharper scissors for this. I'm going to measure these out the same length. Just making sure they're overlapped. And there's already a cut piece. That's obviously a piece that I was using when I'd done Millie's hair bands years ago. Little hair clips. I'm going to fold them over. They look really nice on top of each other like that. And then what they'll do is they will separate a little bit at the bottom. So I'm going to hold this up. So we're having it like this. I'm thinking of having the ribbon about here at the bottom. I'm just going to tie it on. So if you've got yourself some of that ribbon where it's wired, I have got so many wreath tutorials, and I'll show you how to make one of them big wired bows. But for this one, I think we're going to go for like a shabby chic, sort of like just a little plain bow, just like it looks like this, all been handmade, the ribbons. It just looks really lovely. And I feel like for spring, you can get away with that lovely, delicate look as well. And pull it together, making sure to get the fabrics. And the bow just looks really cute, because then what we can do is separate them on the bow if you wanted to, and it adds extra layer and definition to the bow. Let's have a little look. And then you've got the extra layers that hang down, and I just think that looks really, really pretty. And then I'm going to cut them all at the same length, but I'm going to do, yeah, I'm going to do them on an angle. Just cut them all on an angle. Gonna have to cut the pink ones a little bit shorter actually, because the pink ones are slightly shorter. The gingham ones are slightly shorter, shall I say. So about there. It's quite nice because then you see the double layer of the pink anyway. So, sorry, I've got that annoying bit of fringe as well. Now I've got my little marshmallow ears. I've got like the tiniest weird little ears. Little marshmallow ears hanging out. So that, I think, looks so beautiful. I really, really love that. I think that looks so pretty. I'm even going to go like that so we can get a nice little picture of it for my for the YouTube picture. But I think that looks really lovely. Make sure that bra's not on show, because that doesn't look great, does it? Get that on show. But I really love that, and I think that looks really, really beautiful, and it's so cheaply done. There's scraps you can get from the charity shop, but most ribbons you can get under £1. If you go to an haberdashery, the length of ribbon that I got, you probably could get, and for the thinness of those, you probably could get them both for under £1, like 30p each, something like that. It's definitely worth it, and it's good always to go to them kind of places, because then you pay into a little shop as well. So yeah, I really love that. I think that's going to look absolutely beautiful on my front door. I'm going to secure these now, but let me know what your thoughts are of this year's Easter wreath. It looks really, really beautiful, I think. I'm really, really happy with that. You could also, if you wanted to do, I've got so many wreath videos. I'll link them below in the description box, because I did do one year. So if you haven't got a Christmas wreath, one year I got a steering wheel cover, or you could get a hula hoop from the pound shop. They do the smaller ones. I got a steering wheel cover from Home Bargains. It was £5. I covered it in jute, which cost me £1. And it was this lovely jute willow wreath, it looked like. and then I just added some flowers. This is what the flowers were added to, and I literally made a beautiful spring wreath for under £5. So definitely check that out as well. I'll leave that in the description box if you want to have a little look how to do that instead, if you don't want to decorate your own wreath that you've got. But yeah, I've been Rosie Henshaw. Hope you've enjoyed this video, guys. Take care. See you later. Bye.